Hello, my name is Patrick Dominguez. I'm Bill Barron's business partner, and I am here today to show you how to discover your profitable niche using the Master of Enrollment program. So first, let me tell you who I am. In addition to being Bill Barron's business partner, I'm a business coach myself, and I have trained hundreds of people on how to have a lot more success using Master of Enrollment in their consultations. I've also trained hundreds of people on how to create a clear, focused, profitable niche. So my intention for today is to show you how to put those two things together, how you can use what you're learning in the Master of Enrollment program to create a profitable, focused, successful niche for you and your business. I'm going to cover two main things today. The first one is, what is a profitable niche? So you can be clear on that. Then the second thing I'm going to cover is exactly how to use what you're learning in the Master of Enrollment program to create that profitable niche that's really going to work for you. So first, let's talk about what a profitable niche is. So here at Bill Barron Coaching, here's how we define a profitable niche. It's being clear on who your audience is and what exactly they want. Let me start with the who. So we actually believe here at Bill Barron Coaching that the who part of your profitable niche is a lot less important. We see a lot of people get really hung up on trying to be super clear about who your audience is, and we recommend, especially when you're starting out with a niche, go really broad. You can always narrow who your audience is later, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So in the niche definition, we think the what it is that you do for your audience is much more important than the who part of who you're serving. So now I want to talk about the what. So what you do to serve your clients, what we recommend is that you focus in on either a highly valuable result that your audience is looking for, or an urgent problem that your audience is trying to solve. And the key is to discover, ideally, what is the number one result or the number one problem that your audience wants, and then to really focus in on that. When you can get really clear on what the things that really matters to your audience, then that's something that your audience is most likely going to be willing to invest into. I remember a client that we worked with who was a personal organizer, and she was really struggling with figuring out who her audience was. She wanted to work with women, but she was trying to pinpoint that she wanted to work with women entrepreneurs or women who are at home with their children and so forth. And we recommended to her, just go broad and focus on women in general to start off with, and then you can find out which women are the most attracted to your work. So we recommended just go to a networking event where a lot of women will be present and be really focused on the problem that you solve. So she did that. She went to a networking event with a lot of great women, and she spoke very passionately and compellingly about the problem that she solves around being organized at home and in your office with your belongings. And it turns out that she did get 2 consultations and 2 clients, her first ever 2 clients. And surprisingly enough, these first 2 clients were both men. They were both husbands that had come along with the women to this networking gathering. And it turns out they were just very interested in the problem that she solved, even though they weren't in her target audience. And later on, of course, she did sign up women as clients, but it just goes to show that starting with a broad audience and being really focused on a particular problem or result that's really compelling to people is the most important first step in defining your niche. Now that we've covered the basics of what a profitable niche is, let's talk about how to discover that. And I actually want to start that by talking about how not to discover a profitable niche. So one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people make is that they try to discover their niche by being at home and thinking about it, or by reading books about it, or by talking to their closest friends about it. And none of those things really work that well. What we find is the number one thing you need to do to discover a profitable niche or a focused niche or a successful niche is by having conversations with people in your audience. And the idea is you want to have lots of conversations with people in your audience, the sort of people who might be interested in the work that you do. And by having those conversations, you can get really clear on what people are looking for, what they want, and what they're willing to invest into. I want to give an example of someone who came to us not so long ago who was trying to discover their niche. And that person had spent 6 months working with a coach to try to find his niche. And even after 6 months of coaching, hadn't found his niche. And when I talked to him about it, it was like within 5 minutes, it was obvious to me why he hadn't been able to discover a niche. And that's because all of his exploration had been internal. Now, it's useful to spend some time to look inside and figure out what you're passionate about and what you would really like to do. But that is not the core of a successful niche. The core of a successful niche is what your potential audience really wants. So this person had spent 6 months doing internal exploration, which is valuable, but what you really want to do is get out on the road, get outside, get into places where there are people who might be interested in your services and speak to them about what it is they want. I want to tell you about my own experience with doing this sort of niche discovery work. So when I first started out as a coach, I put my shingle out as a marketing coach, and I went out and was telling people at networking events and other situations that I'm a marketing coach. And what I discovered in talking to people is people didn't really understand what that meant. In fact, some people have resistance to marketing. You know, they have a feeling it's going to be hard work or they don't know how to do it. And so I also went through this exploration of deciding I'm going to talk to people and find out what they want instead of being attached to what I wanted to say. And so I held a bunch of consultations. I spoke to quite a number of people in my tribe. And what I heard back was people were wanting more clients. People were wanting more income. People were wanting to work less in their businesses and be more effective in the time they were working in their businesses. People wanted to break into 6 figures, and people were telling me they wanted to discover their calling. Find something that they're really passionate about, and have that be the core of their business. So there were so many things I discovered from actually talking to people about what they wanted, and I ended up reformulating the way I talked about my niche to helping entrepreneurs who really care about making a difference in the world break into 6 figures and beyond. And what I found was when I used that kind of message at networking events or when I was speaking, I got a lot more reaction. A lot of people wanted to know more about what I did, and it led to a lot more clients. And the only way I was able to do that was through contact with the marketplace and through talking to people and giving up what I thought people wanted and really finding out what they wanted. Okay, now I want to break it down into exact steps to follow. Here's how you can use what you're learning in the Master of Enrollment program to clarify your niche. So step 1 is to go out and hold 6 to 10 consultations. And we have a bonus in the Master of Enrollment program called Never Ending Flow of Consultations, which shows you our top 3 methods of getting consultations. So the key here is to get into conversation with people. Now, I want to give you a shortcut or an alternative if you're concerned that you're not going to be able to go out and get 6 to 10 consultations right now. Another way to do this is to arrange to have interviews with people in your tribe. And you simply go out to places where you can find your tribe or find them online and let people know that you're doing research about your tribe and you want to understand their needs better, which is exactly what you do when you're having an interview with somebody. And so you want to then schedule 6 to 10 interviews with people where you are researching what it is that your audience really wants. So whether it's a consultation or whether it's an interview, you want to arrange 6 to 10 conversations with people who are in your audience to find out what it is that they really want. Step 2 is when you're holding the consultations or the interviews or the conversations with those 6 to 10 people, use the establishing the gap questions from MOE to get a clear picture of what results or what problems are the most concerned with. So again, you want to use the establishing the gap questions from MOE. And so you want to, during those conversations with people, ask questions centered around what is it that they really want? Where is it that they want to go? What is it that they want to achieve? This is the where they're going part of establishing the gap. And you want to get really clear on what is it in terms of a result or an outcome that they want more than anything else. You also want to ask questions centered around what are your greatest challenges or struggles around getting to what you want. And you really want to probe, where are they stuck? Where are they having problems? Where are they suffering? Where is it really challenging for them? And when you go deeply into that exploration, you'll find the top problems that they're really wanting to solve. And when you want to make sure you ask deeper and deeper questions so you really get to the heart of the matter. You want to get to the bottom of what it is that they really, really want and what are the problems that are the most challenging for them. And when you hear those things, these become the core of a niche that would be really compelling to people like the ones you're talking to. Step 3 is when you talk to enough people, you want to listen for patterns. You want to listen to people telling you the same things over and over again. So for example, when we gave this assignment to one of our clients who's a health practitioner, she went out and interviewed a bunch of people. And what she found out was people were the most concerned about weight loss. They were most concerned around having enough energy. And then a number of her clients with her particular tribe, because she's working with people in the sort of 50s, 60s, and 70s, quite a few people in her tribe were concerned about diabetes. So she was able to take this information and then have very powerful consultations where she could offer people solutions around weight loss, energy, and diabetes, the exact things that a lot of people were telling her that they were concerned about. So the main idea of step number 3 is listen for people telling you the same results or the same problems over and over and over again. And that basically makes it really easy to know what you want to have be at the core of your niche. These are the problems and the results that your people care about the most, and that a lot of people in your audience are going to want too. So let's talk about step 4. Step 4 is using the exact language that people are telling you. So this is really important. One of the things that practitioners sometimes do, especially if you're really expert at the work that you do, is practitioners want to use a lot of jargon or a lot of fancy terminology. And what I find is your clients are going to, or your potential clients, are going to resonate most with the sort of language that they're already using. So for example, if you're a love coach and you hear people telling you over and over again that what they want more than anything is a soulmate or a life partner, then when you're talking to people in consultations, you want to use that same sort of language. You want to say, I understand that what you're really wanting more than anything else is a soulmate or a life partner. When you're able to connect with your clients in a really deep way by using their language, it makes your consultations so much easier. And it makes it so much easier when someone's asking you what you do or what your niche is, when you're using the language that people are already telling you all the time. They can immediately connect with you when you're describing your business or your niche. Now, I've just described a very simple 4-step method for you to use to discover a profitable niche using the Master of Enrollment methodology. And so here are the next steps. If you're someone who is trying to clarify your niche or you want to upgrade your niche, I want to ask you to go out in the next 2 weeks and arrange 6 to 10 consultations or interviews or conversations. The key is these need to be with people who are in your target audience, the sort of people that you think you could serve. And then what I'd like to ask you to do is when you've done this research and you've discovered some really powerful and valuable things about your target audience, I want to ask you to come to our online member forum and share what you discovered, because this will be a huge inspiration for other people who are also in the question, who are in the inquiry of what's their niche. So with all that said, this is Patrick Dominguez. It's been a real pleasure talking to you today in this video. I can't wait to hear how this work goes for you. Take care and all the best to you.